Kyle.
Oh,
Hey guys.
hello.
Hey.
Thank you for attending the call today. Let's start with the client update. So I think Jimmy can't make it today, but he left some message on the Discord and said that they identified an issue in the house that about like penalize the peers that sending the colors after they perform the reconstruction. So I think that this is likely contribute to Lighthouse Supernode's peering issue. So they are fixing it and will retest it. And Lion also from Lighthouse. Any other updates from Lighthouse? Okay, if not, it's okay. And do we have any updates from Reason?
Hey. Yeah, last week we had an offsite with Offchain Labs, so I didn't work too much on PeerDAS, but about the week before, so I'm currently Prism is only able to work with PeerDAS if the PeerDAS version is the PeerDAS fork epoch is at Genesis. If you try to activate PeerDAS after Genesis, there is some issue, so I'm working on it, and also I'm working on PeerDAS as Fulu as well. That's all for me.
Thank you. Okay, and anyone from Nimbus?
Yeah, so we're basically putting in the PeerDAS pieces inside Fulu, and we're pretty much just left with column syncing, honestly. And right now, Nimbus is fully compliant, like fully capable of supporting a Fulu hard fork as well. So, like currently, whether you decide a soft fork or you decide PeerDAS at Fulu as a hard fork, we should be able to work just fine. And I think at least 2 more weeks from now, I think we should be ready to form a DevNet. Yeah, I mean, that's all.
Good, thank you. Then Teku.
Yeah, we were preparing branch and it's ready, which is able to run PeerDAS as a fork anywhere in Electra or Follow. And as there is a mode to not switch to Electra to avoid all bugs, all the net bugs, We are trying to add DNOP support to this branch currently, and it's a work in progress. I'm not sure it's feasible, but if we are able to add DNOP support, we will have one branch for DNOP full or Electra and PeerDAS as soft fork anywhere in the middle. So it's the current work, and that's all for us.
Thank you. Do we have people from Grinding? Nope. Okay. And anyone from Lodestar? If not, then is there anything I missed? Okay, if not, we could move to the definite updates. So I think I can just share about this status of the spec first. This is the spec target for the incoming release. So like we were very close to click the release button. However, there are some new PRs came up, and we're now planning to have them fully discussed in the ACD this week. So yeah, but I think the two PRs are not PeerDAS related, but they're mostly for Pictra. Yeah, that's the spec side. Yeah, and do we have any updates or issues to discuss regarding the dev dates?
So as I mentioned in the chat, we currently don't support electrogenesis. So the next dev network flow would be that we do a DNAP genesis. We activate Electra on whatever epoch, like epoch 1, and then we would be triggering Fulu on epoch 1 plus n, where n is more than 0. And that's where we would want to activate all the PeerDAS features. Is that okay for every client?
Yeah, I have a question. So can you confirm that the EIP 7594 fork epoch will be the same than Fulu fork epoch?
Yes, we can do that, yeah.
Okay, so the same. Fulu and PeerDAS at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. It simplifies my work. Thank you.
I mean, ideally, we can also just deprecate the EIP 7594 fork activation.
I think we should, because yes, I think normally we should activate PeerDAS directly at Fulu, not after.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Is there any opposition for just getting rid of that fork activation and just have Fulu?
We need it in Teku. We are considering it as possible soft fork. We don't need fork version, but we need for fork epoch.
But for how long are you going to need it for? Is it just for the next DevNet, or?
If we have finalized decisions that we are doing it in full, I could remove it. But we are talking that we are going to do it in Electra. Next, in a week, we are going to do it in full. And next, we are going to go back to the NOP. And I'm not sure. Could we keep it for a while at least?
Sure. I thought that the consensus was that we're gonna do this in full. So that's why I'm just asking.
If we have strong consensus to do it on full, okay.
Is there any reason not to do it on Fulu?
There were talks that DevNet, Electra DevNet is not stable yet, and as Fulu is at top of Electra, we could get all bugs from Electra DevNet combined with bugs from PeerDAS.
But Electra is stable. I would say that. So like I feel like Electra can be considered as stable at this point. Maybe not Electra DevNet 5, but we can probably iron out all the issues because
Yeah, I have heard the same that DevNet 4 is pretty stable.
yeah. Like Mekong is running now DevNet 4 spec and we have 99.9% participation. So like we are pretty much good. So like I would be comfortable using Fulu as the activation trigger.
And Prism supports it.
And I think also Nimbus supports that.
Yeah, we do support it.
Yeah. What about Lighthouse?
Ryan, if you are speaking, we can't hear you. Okay, maybe Ryan, could you maybe type the message? If not, we could come back later.
Yeah, basically the question was if it would be okay for Lighthouse to trigger PeerDAS as Fulu and not EIP 7594. Yeah, basically what Dimitri put in the chat. Okay, and maybe Lodestar can also comment now because Matthew just joined. I can repeat the question again.
Yes, please.
So would Lodestar be okay with removing EIP 7594 as the fork epoch activation and just trigger PeerDAS with Fulu?
I don't see any issue with that. And Gajinder's here as well. He just popped in.
I can repeat the question one more time.
Yeah.
Gajinder, would Lodestar be okay to activate PeerDAS on Fulu instead of EIP 7594 so that we can get rid of the EIP 7594 from the config?
Yeah, I think that will be okay.
Okay. So I think there's no objection other than from Teku, but Dimitri said that they can also just get rid of it. So then we should probably get rid of it.
And Lodestar missed the previous client updates. Would you like to give a short summary of the client update? Gajinder.
Yeah, hello. So we are just working on rebasing the client. So we basically in the past we said that we had an issue while debugging the range sync. We figured out an issue while debugging the range sync, but turned out that it is not possible for us to figure out if a set of peers are on different fork. If we, for example, get blocks through one and then try to get data through the other. So we are trying to figure out what is the best strategy over there. But turns out maybe just keep picking up peers and trying them out is the only reasonable strategy that we have got. So that way we don't basically foresee any major change in the way we do range sync, and we'll try to figure out how to best sort of collate those peers that we figure out that are not on a particular fork. But yeah, apart from that, nothing much has gone on apart from that. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so maybe let's go back to definite discussion a bit. Any other questions or issues regarding definite?
Is the make initial full spec PR gonna make it to alpha 10? Or are we gonna have alpha 11 for the next DevNet? Basically this PR. We were gonna include it in alpha 9 first, but it didn't make it there.
Can you repeat the question, please?
If we want to include this make initial full spec in alpha 10. Or if we want to have a new alpha 11 and just leave alpha 10 as is and target the next PeerDAS DevNet for alpha 11.
I don't have a strong opinion on that.
We're kind of going to. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I think just saying the spec side would differ to client teams. If you are ready, then we can replace the PR and make it merge.
And especially are the client team okay with EIP 7594 decoupled network subnets from DAS core, because it impacts PeerDAS a lot?
Indeed. Yeah, we should add a patch for it. Thank you for flagging it.
I just wanted to comment on the timeline that Barnabas was asking about for 10 or alpha 10 or alpha 11. At least from, I don't know what other teams, if they're, as far as obviously it's December and a lot of vacation going on. I don't know how active the setting up the DevNets or testnets is intended to be in the next, until January. And if it's not intended to be that active, and again, I don't know what the plan is, then maybe I don't know if there's an urgency to alpha.10 at that point. I don't know what specifically the goal there is.
So we plan to have DevNet 5 up by end of this year. So for that, we would need alpha 10, at least for Pectra, DevNet 5. But this is really a PeerDAS discussion, but it would be based on top of that. I'm not sure if we can do a PeerDAS DevNet by the end of this year also.
But the benefit is we can always have a local kurtosis config. So if someone is working on PeerDAS over the holidays, they can. Otherwise, they don't have to, and they can reconvene in the new year.
I don't see any big problem in merging in the full spec for Alpha 10, by the way. So
Okay. Any other like PRs that I want to discuss today?
maybe the same one as last time. Validator custody stuff. Do you want it in DevNet 5? Or sorry, in the next PeerDAS DevNet or not?
Are you talking about the decoupled network subnet from DAS core?
No, the basic validator custody. This one.
Yeah. I would still vote for no.
Okay. So that's gonna make it into possibly next PeerDAS DevNet.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. After, I guess, for the basic validator custody, it's okay. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's okay if some clients does implement it and some other no. Because it will just change on the metadata and on the node record CSC value. It will just change the value, and so it will just change the count of advertised subnets for a node. But if there is one node which implements it and one other node which does not, should be okay.
Any other comments? And then any other topics to discuss today? Any like research topics to discuss today? No. Okay, anything else before we closing this call? No, no.
Just minor question during the desk call. we really briefly talked about possible PeerDAS interop. I don't know if it was a serious discussion or not. And is
You
it
mean the
something which is possible?
in person?
Yeah. It was a
Interrupt.
really quick informal discussion about that.
Do you mean the
Yep.
usual R&D interrupt, the same one we had for Petra, or do you mean a specific off-band one?
Specific for PeerDAS, because yes, specific for PeerDAS, we really briefly talked about it.
I mean, specific for PeerDAS would be specific for Fulu at this point, right?
Yeah. Sorry, yes.
So everybody who's going to be working on the next fork, which is basically everyone, would be there. So at this point, that would be just a normal interrupt, I think.
That's right. That's right.
I think it would have only made sense to do it maybe this year, to like actually push a separate parallel session, but it feels like no team had enough bandwidth to do a proper parallel line next to Petra. So I think parallel implementation is actually not working that well.
Yes.
Any other comments on the interrupt or like PeerDAS readiness? Not, we can wrap up earlier. Thank you for attending. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you
Bye-bye.
guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.